Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen we're making some delicious, decadent, and easy brookies. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 350 and melt half a cup or 113 grams of butter in a medium bowl. To that we're adding 1/3 of a cup or 35 grams of cocoa powder. Brookies are a combination of delicious brownies and really great chocolate chip cookie batter mixed up into a pan that you're gonna cut into bars. They're delicious. Grab a whisk, we're gonna mix this up. Whenever you mix cocoa powder with something warm, it's really gonna activate that chocolatey flavor. This looks so good already. Once that's nice and mixed up, zero your scale, and we're gonna add half a cup of granulated sugar, that's 100 grams. We're also adding in half a cup of packed light brown sugar. Packed if you're using a measuring cup, or about 105 grams if you're using a scale. I always crunch it up in my hands so that I can get rid of any of these rocks that linger on. For some contrast, we're adding half a teaspoon of salt. And by the way, we're making the brownie batter first, in case you're wondering what's happening here. Scale's done for the moment. We're gonna mix this together now. It's gonna form a dark kind of sandy mixture. To this mixture, we're gonna add 2 eggs. When you're making brownies, the secret to a glossy top is to mix your little heart out at this stage. Once the eggs go in, you wanna mix with that sugar until the sugar basically dissolves. When it bakes up, you'll get that shiny, crackly top. Brookies are mostly chocolate chip cookie bar on top. The brownies are mostly on the bottom, but there is some that'll peek out. And the cocoa powder I used today was a Dutch processed dark cocoa powder. It's gonna give you the fudgiest brownie, but you can use natural cocoa powder if that's what you have on hand. It'll still be delicious. Just a little bit lighter colored and a little bit less fudgy. Once that's started, add a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, now we're gonna mix this up, and if you wanted to, you could use an electric hand mixer to really go to town. By the way, if you like my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes and shorts every single week. You might want to use an electric mixer on this. It'll be totally delicious if you just give it a little mix, but it just won't be shiny and crackly. And since I'm filming this, I'll be embarrassed if that's the case. All right, we need some dry ingredients to help hold this together. So I'm gonna bring my scale back and add the flour right in. We only need a little bit of flour, so half a cup or 60 grams is just enough. Perfect. Fold that in. I'm gonna switch to a spatula for this part. You should mix until there's only a few streaks of flour left. We'll add some chocolate chips to this, and then you'll finish the mix completely once they're distributed. To the batter, I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips. That's 135 grams. If you wanted to, you could also use chopped chocolate instead. Or you could do 50-50 chocolate chips, chopped walnuts. Add your favorite things. Mix those chocolate chips in. Ooh, this looks decadent. Okay, my brownie batter's done. However, we have to add it to the pan first. So, grab a 9x13-inch pan. I'm going to lightly butter the sides, just so it holds the paper in. Nice, fully lined, just a few snips did the trick. Transfer the brownie batter right into the pan. Get all that batter out. You can use a spatula or your offset and just smooth this out into an even layer. It'll seem pretty thin right now because we have a whole other layer to add on top. All right, now it's time to make our cookie part of the brookie. For the cookie dough, we're gonna grab another medium bowl and add half a cup of granulated sugar, that's 100 grams. A quarter cup of light brown sugar, that's about 55 grams. And half a cup of unsalted room temperature butter. It should be fairly soft, so you can indent with your finger fairly easily. The butter will bend. This is the stage where it'll mix really well. Room temperature does not mean it's been on the counter all day long, because your counter could be too hot or be too cold. It should be at this soft stage. Scale's done for a minute. Grab your hand mixer and we're gonna mix this on high for 3 to 4 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. Okay. Several minutes later, I scraped this down a couple times while I was mixing. You can see I have a beautiful fluffy cloud of sugar and butter. Ready for the next step. Time to add 1 large egg, room temperature as well, please. As well as a teaspoon of vanilla. We're gonna mix this up until it's well combined. Brookies, by the way, are only from the 2010s. It's a fairly recent mashup, but they're also fairly popular. People love the combination of a chocolate chip cookie bar and a brownie in one. They're also really easy to make because you just need 2 bowls. Everything mixes up so easily. If you just wanted a chocolate chip cookie bar or you just want a brownie, I have both of those on the channel as well, so just look them up and watch away. All right, lovely, even fluffier now. We need a few more ingredients in here. So half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of baking soda. We're gonna mix this in so it's nice and distributed. And now we can add our flour, and so bringing the scale back. We're gonna add 1 1/3 cups or 160 grams of all-purpose flour to this. I'm gonna mix this on low until almost combined. Now it's time for the chocolate chips. Our chocolate chip cookie dough needs chocolate chips, so we're gonna add 180 grams or 1 cup, but reserve a handful of chocolate chips for the top. Let's use a spatula to mix this together. Scrape the bowl down, find any lost pockets of flour, and then this is gonna be good to go. It's time to assemble, but we're not just gonna dump the chocolate chip cookie dough on top. We're gonna gather spoonfuls and plop them on, because we wanna see the chocolate come out a little bit, so we're gonna allow some space for the brownie to peek through. I'm giving this a lot more thought than I need to. It's really just plopping it on. A lot of this will self-level out, so despite your best intentions, what happens in the oven will happen in the oven. Now we're just gonna sprinkle some chocolate chips on top. Try and aim for the cookie dough. Cover your Brookies loosely with foil. We don't want this to take on too much color because of the differences in doughs. Your Brookies will bake for 20 minutes covered at 350, then uncover them and bake an additional 20 minutes. You'll know these are done when they're taking on a golden color on top. They'll still seem gooey and loose, but as they cool down, they'll set more. When they come out, we're gonna give them a cut. In you go. Allow your Brookies to cool completely before removing. Give them a slice. The serving size is up to you. I suggest 15, but it could be more or less. And these will last for a week in an airtight container at room temperature, or you can freeze them for up to 2 months. And just like that, they're ready to enjoy. Would you like to try one?
Definitely.
All right, let's give it a bite. It's everything you want. Fudgy brownie, delicious, like brown sugar notes and that chocolate chip cookie dough. And it is so soft and just like melt in your mouth, amazing. I hope you get a chance to make this easy recipe, and if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button and check out my bars playlist.
Bye.
Bye.